Hello and welcome to this video tutorial. Today we're looking very quickly at how you would arrange a PowerPoint slide where you've got two columns of bullet points or two columns of data, and you want the data in the left column to relate perfectly to the data in the right. Now here is a sample slide where everything's working perfectly. Innovation is right opposite the item that it relates to, and affordability opposite competitive pricing, and social responsibility is right opposite community and environmental impact. But things are about to go haywire if we add some extra items. So let's have a look at a slide where we've added some extra items. And I've got a little line here so that we can drag it down to see what's happening. You can see that these items are lining up perfectly, but while social responsibility lines up with the beginning of its related bullet point, the end of the bullet point, because it wrapped around, is now sort of halfway across customer service, and customer service is no longer matched up with prompt and helpful support, and quality's totally lost anything at all. But while this is going to work for items where the text is really short, it's not going to work when things wrap around. But let's just quickly see what you would use if you did have short items, and this is the simplest way of doing it. I'm going to insert a new slide here, and for the layout I'm using here to content. So I've got room for my title and I've got room for my bullet point text, and provided everything can fit to one line long within each of these boxes, then things are going to work perfectly. It is simply the simplest solution. But when you've got things that wrap around, you're going to need to be a little bit more creative, and the best way to organize these elements on the slide is to use a table. Now I've already gone ahead and put this in a table. I'm going to show you in a minute how to get this table, but a couple of words about what we're doing. The first thing is, if you don't want to show somebody that you're actually using a table, then don't worry about the formatting right now. Just get your data in, because once you start removing the formatting, it can be a little bit difficult to see where the actual table layout is. So I've typed in an item here into the heading area, but I'm just ignoring that because I'm not going to use that as a heading in a minute. So I've just added all my data. I'm going to select over it, and let's just go and make it that larger size type, and watch how the table format actually manages these items that scroll around. You can see here this item scrolled around and it's dealing with it perfectly. Social responsibility is lined up with community and environmental impact, and it hasn't pushed customer service into a misalignment. So once you've got your data in your table, what you're going to do is then format your table. So let's see how we do this. I'm just going to add a new table into a new slide so you can see how to actually set up the table in the first place. You're just going to new slide, and then you're just going to click on table. In this case, we want a 2-column table, probably want about 5 rows. If you need more rows, you can change that later on. And this is what you're going to get. So that's exactly what I did and filled in with my data. So once the data is filled in, we're going to select on the table, and we're going to the Table Design tab. Here are the table styles. You're just going to drop that down, and you're going to choose this one, which is absolutely nothing. No style, no grid, no nothing. So we don't have headings, we don't have anything special. But we do have an underlying table. So to get from cell to cell, you're just going to press the tab key, and that's going to move you around the table. You can see that things are lining up perfectly. And if we need something more, then we can just press the tab key again, and we're going to get a new blank cell. I'm just going to press Ctrl Z to undo that. Now to make these bullet points, we're just going to select over everything, and from the Home tab of the ribbon, we're just going to click on the bullet point option. So again, we've got bullet points side by side. They're helping us with the readability of this slide, because it's allowing us to see that social responsibility is related to community and environmental impact and separate to what is directly below it. But we can go one step further. I'm going to select my table, and on the Layout tab, I'm going to select the cell margins, because that's going to allow me to change the bottom margin of these cells. I'm just going to click on Cell Margins. I'm going to Custom Margins. So here we can experiment with a bottom margin value. You can see that the bottom margin right now is 0.05 inches. If you're working in centimeters, it's going to be some sort of centimeters. So I'm going to increase it. So this is doubling its current value from 0.05 to 0.1. I'll click Preview to see how it looks. If that's enough, then you can just click OK to exit. If you need to make changes, you can either type a value in here or you can experiment with less or more values. So I'm just going to leave mine at 0.1 of an inch because I think it looks pretty good here. I'll click OK. So now there is a slightly bigger space between these items than there is between these two lines of text. This entire layout is incredibly stable. Customer service is never going to be lined up against anything else other than the actual bullet point that relates to it. And the bullet point here, if it's goes over 2 or 3 or 5 lines, is still going to push quality out of the way enough so that the lining up is going to be perfect. So next time you need bullet points side by side on a PowerPoint slide, and where you actually want the relationship between the bullet points to be well structured, use a table, put the table in, fill in your data, and when you're done, go and clean it up so that it doesn't look like a table, it just looks like you're a PowerPoint ace. If you like carefully researched content like this, clearly presented in a step-by-step format so that you can get great results every time, then you'll love my other YouTube videos. So give this video a thumbs up and click to subscribe to the channel. And on the screen now, you'll see a video that I've handpicked for you to watch next.